170. He was the 55-pound most defensive 55 ever. Just dominates at 170. Like every round. People are saying it's boring, but listen, man, it's boring if you're a casual. The fact that he was able to do it every round, it was a little frustrating because you wanted Jack to try to adjust, but he couldn't, man. Islam shut his game down right away. He low kick front leg real quick, had him limping real quick. Like within the first round, he had hit it 3 or 4 times. Bad.
I imagine being Khabib. You know, just your protege just coming in.
And Khabib's even better than him.
Right.
That's what's so crazy. That's how good those guys are. KOing people, man. It's different.
Yeah.
He's different. He's head kicking Volkanovski. It's like a different level of stand-up.
Yeah, Khabib said, you're going to be better than me.
Crazy.
Them Dagestani boys is here to stay.
You know what's crazy, dude? Bilal Muhammad, you know, who was the champ at welterweight, went down to Dagestan and trained with those guys. And he was like, I thought I trained hard. I really did. I thought I trained hard until I trained with those guys.
That's what I'm gonna follow that. If I ever have a son, I'm just dropping him. As soon as he's hit puberty, I'm dropping him off in Dagestan. They leave him here, forget.
It's the thing they always say. Take him to Dagestan, 2-3 years, forget.
Yeah, for real.
For real.
Then he comes back telling you what to do.
It's real. That's how those dudes are really rolling out there. That's how they're really living. They pray 5 times a day. They're super religious. There's no gambling. There's no drinking. There's no partying. There's just training. Just training and training with a bunch of animals. Eating together, training together, just getting after it every day. And then it's iron sharp.
Challengers, contenders, this sport is growing very fast, you know. There is a lot of new young guys coming, you know, and yeah, it's always gonna be good opponents for Islam. But Islam is now not only champion, he is pound for pound best fighter.
Молодец, молодец.
Жирный тебя начал. Что не говоришь, что я опаздываю? 17:30, видишь, нет еще. Ладно, шалом.
Я, честно сказать, не такой большой фанат ММА был, там, чтобы я там смотрел бои, там кто-то рассказывает, вижу интервью, что там у меня диски были первых боев UFC. У меня такого не было, честно. Просто вот как-то мне понравился этот вид спорта. Я начал этим заниматься, попал, наверное, большую роль, что сыграл, попал в хорошую команду в нужное время. Вот у меня было тогда такое время, когда я менял разные виды спорта.
Islam Makhachev is going through one of his toughest camps yet for Ian Gary, with Khabib by his side and a 3-phase plan to leave no room for doubt.
Мне нормально, если балл я не отдам, взять не обязательно. У меня это есть понятие, как там делать. В голове получается, там не получается.
Главное намерение. Надо намерение же оценивается.
Now, Islam Makhachev is putting in intense weightlifting work as part of his camp, training alongside some of the best coaches in the sport to get his body where it needs to be. The scale of the effort signals just how seriously he's approaching his next challenge.
Что делаешь? Один подход делаем. Я сделал 130, я вот сейчас сделал 125. 2 подхода по 3 раза. Вот, брат, вот. 7 сделать. Да, вообще без проблем. Ноги просто.
А ну этот лоу-кик уверте.
Не надо.
Лоу-киком попробуй.
5 килограмм решай, сделай 100. Эй, разборок вообще нереальный был. Давай.
Хорошо, еще один. Пошли, кто следует?
Weighing in on the matchup, Prates gives the edge to Makhachev, calling him a legitimate double champ and a genuinely great fighter, while acknowledging Gary comes in as the underdog with real tools that could still get the job done. When asked who he'd rather share the cage with, Prates hints that one matchup carries a more personal pull for him. Tied to unfinished business he's still looking to settle.
Islam fights Ian, who wins?
Of course, I think Makhachev gonna win. Makhachev is a double champ, really good fighter. Ian Gary is the underdog, but I really believe like Ian have a really good skills to beat Makhachev.
Who would you prefer to fight?
The both would be good. For the legacy, Makhachev is great, you know, just one loss, a lot of winning streak. But for me, by person, I prefer Ian. That lose for me is still a little bit painful, so I think me and Ian, we still have some business to do.
Turning to Chael Sonnen's take, he's giving real weight to Ian Machado Gary's bold claim that he can dethrone Makhachev and end his reign, arguing the confidence isn't just talk. Sonnen breaks down why Gary poses a genuinely different kind of threat, pointing to his length, movement, speed, and distance management as tools that set him apart from most of Makhachev's past opponents.
Ian Gary believes he's going to beat Islam Makhachev. It's a big deal, and I'm going to make a prediction for you. This fight's going to be huge. I want you to watch this. Stay with me.
Never fought someone as long and tall as me. He's not fought someone as fast as me. I'm going to bounce him on his skull. I'm going to take his title. I'm going to take his throne, and I'll always be the guy that stopped history from happening.
I just love that. He does have the length. Ian does a very good job of controlling distance. Islam does a better job, I believe, of taking away distance. But you got a training camp, you got some time. Ian Gary, in theory, he's right. If he can learn to keep you at the end of their punches. Islam wishes that Ian was even taller and even longer and had even more ability. Because as a wrestler, it just gives him more to get under. Taking a tall guy down is so much easier. Just because there's more body to grab. That's going to be an interesting trade. You watch Ian, you think he's just brash, confident, Irish man. He's better than he thinks he is. Rachmanov won the contest as a whole, but Ian took his O away. Ian showed that wrestling wasn't impenetrable. I do believe that Ian is going to convince the world of what I already know. He can win this fight.
Turning to the matchup at hand, Michael Bisping acknowledges Makhachev standing as one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters in the sport, but he pushes back on the idea that this fight will be as one-sided as many are predicting, arguing it could prove far more difficult than expected.
This fight for Islam Makhachev may be a lot harder than what people think. Given all of the accolades that Islam Makhachev has, it's easy to just dismiss Ian Gary and say, listen, he's got to just run right through him. Okay, you could send him to Dagestan or Georgia for 20 years and still forget all about it.
Send him 2-3 years Dagestan and forget.
Okay, because Islam Makhachev is the GOAT. He's going to take him down. The man's Irish. They don't wrestle in Ireland, for crying out loud. Well, guess what? He's a well-rounded mixed martial artist. He's 17-1. He had a very, very close fight with Shavkat Rakhmonov.
Closing things out, Michael makes clear that Makhachev rightfully deserves his standing as the favorite heading into this matchup, but he stops short of dismissing Gary's chances altogether. Instead, he leans on the broader unpredictability of MMA itself, noting that the sport has a long history of humbling favorites and rewriting expectations in an instant. For Bisping, that alone is reason enough to take Gary seriously rather than count him out before the fight even happens.
As I say, he defended 4 times at lightweight, and now this will be his first ever defense at welterweight. And by the way, if he gets through Ian Gary, and that is a big if, and I say that respectfully, and I assume Islam will be a massive favorite, and rightly so. I'm just saying, you can never count your chickens in this sport. You should never underestimate anyone. And Islam Makhachev is not that guy, okay? He lives and breathes the sport. That's when he's not on his farm taking care of his animals and stuff like that.
This is my dream, to make big farm. We have a lot of animals.
The man is a serious professional. He will come in ready and prepped and ready to absolutely demolish Ian Gary if he doesn't bring his A game and a stellar game plan. The game plan, as I said, will be stick and move. And that might sound boring, but it could get the job done.
Adding to that, reports indicate Islam Makhachev is putting in serious, all-around work in camp, sharpening his wrestling, refining his boxing, and drilling every other skill in his arsenal rather than leaning on any one strength. The comprehensive approach reflects just how thoroughly he's preparing for what's ahead, leaving little doubt about the level of commitment going into this camp. It's the kind of well-rounded effort that suggests he's not taking anything about this fight for granted. Shifting to Makhachev's path to victory, Bisping points to his world-class sambo background and submission grappling as the clearest and most reliable route to success in this fight, calling it the foundation his game has always been built on. He adds that if Makhachev manages to secure a takedown and get things to the mat, it's likely going to be a long, difficult night for Gary, given how dominant that phase of the fight tends to be for him.
Of course, the career of Islam is ridiculous. When you look at the last few fights that he had, the people on his resume, it's insane. Jack Della Maddalena, Renato Moicano, granted on a day's notice, and he made it look easy, got it done in just 4 minutes. Before that, Dustin Poirier submitted him. Alexander Volkanovski, 2 times in a row. Charles Oliveira, Bobby Green, Dan Hooker, Thiago Moises. When Thiago Moises was the real deal, when he was a contender, when he was coming up and he was very, very hungry.
On a related note, reports indicate Khabib is right there alongside Makhachev throughout camp, guiding his training side by side rather than staying on the periphery or handing things off to assistant coaches. That level of hands-on involvement from someone with Khabib's pedigree speaks volumes about how seriously this camp is being run, with every detail of the preparation seemingly getting the personal attention it needs. It's the kind of close, direct oversight that suggests nothing is being left to chance heading into the fight, and it reinforces just how much value Makhachev places on having that guidance in his corner. For a camp built around this level of scrutiny, it's hard to imagine him walking in anything less than fully prepared. A constant and intense presence in the gym, Khabib Nurmagomedov plays a leading role in Islam Makhachev's training camps and often takes precedence over head coach Javier Mendez to deliver crucial, last-minute advice in the corner. Weighing in on the matchup, Arman Tsarukyan, who has first-hand experience with Makhachev, offers a more measured breakdown of how the champion and Ian Gary match up stylistically. While he gives Gary credit for his size and striking, he warns that Makhachev's wrestling remains a persistent threat and believes Gary will need a near-perfect performance to have a real chance.
Gary Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev, too tough for Gary. Gary has a good striking. I think on the striking, Gary make problem for Islam, but Islam has a good timing of takedown. It's gonna take him down and most likely submit round number 3. So, yeah.
Turning to the panel discussion, Ariel and the group, including PT Carroll, give Gary his full to the journey, the growth, and the fight IQ are all legitimate. While they acknowledge Makhachev remains the clear pound-for-pound favorite, they make a solid case that Gary has a genuine shot if he maintains his distance and sticks to his game plan, which is exactly what makes this matchup so compelling.
As a fighter, I think in terms of how he fights, he was probably more of a stoppage guy in those early days, but his IQ was unbelievable. I think he has an incredible mind. I think he really zones in on how to fight different opponents and finds a way to do that. So it's going to be very interesting, given the odds stacked against him fighting the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, Islam Makhachev.
Building on that assessment, experts still have Makhachev as the clear favorite, but they emphasize that Gary is most dangerous when he commits to fighting from the outside and using his reach to control range. If he can stick to that disciplined approach for a full 5 rounds against Makhachev, they suggest this fight suddenly gets a lot more interesting.
I think Ian can have a lot of success if he sticks to his long range on the outside. Absolutely. Like, you know, we've seen him do this time and time again. It's just a different beast across the cage from, understandably, Islam is the favorite, but absolutely wouldn't rule Ian Gary out.
Weighing in on the matchup, GSP gives the edge to Makhachev, suggesting his overall skill set and experience put him in the stronger position heading into the fight against Gary. Coming from someone with GSP's own championship pedigree and understanding of high-level game planning, that assessment carries real weight, even as he acknowledges Gary brings legitimate tools of his own into the matchup.
Islam Makhachev fighting Ian Machado Gary.
Ian Gary, it's a tough opponent, very good striker, but Islam, once again, his goal is going to be to bring the fight to the ground. If he's able to do that, he's going to have an edge. Islam has the edge in terms of skills because he's more well-rounded. He can do it all. Maybe he will eventually go up in the middleweight, try to go the 3-weight class club.
Adding his voice to the conversation, John Jones picks Makhachev to get past Gary, joining the growing list of fighters and analysts backing the champion heading into this matchup. Coming from someone widely regarded as one of the greatest fighters in the sport's history, that endorsement carries real significance, even if it doesn't come as much of a surprise given how dominant Makhachev has looked throughout his career.
John, please, one question for Russian MMA fans. Islam Makhachev versus Ian Gary, what do you think about this fight?
Oh, I'm going with Islam because he has a wrestling background, and it's very hard to It's hard to beat wrestlers. So Islam, he may just be one of the greatest fighters in the world right now. It's me and maybe him. So I encourage him to keep going.
Thank you so much.
Turning to Sean Brady's take on the rumored UFC 330 title fight, he doesn't hold back on his prediction, suggesting Makhachev will simply run through Gary when the two eventually meet in Philadelphia. As a current welterweight contender himself, Brady's blunt assessment carries some extra weight given his own first-hand experience competing at the top of the division and understanding what it takes to compete with a fighter like Makhachev. For Brady, the gap between the two feels significant enough that he doesn't see much of a path for Gary to pull off the upset.
Seems like the next title fight is going to be Islam and Ian Gary, and if the rumors materialize, it will be at UFC 330 in Philly. Are we trying to make a turnaround to get on that card and be on the same card as the title fight? And if it does happen, who do you think wins?
Even if they weren't on the card, I don't care who's main event in that card. As long as I'm not injured or anything like that, I obviously, not looking past Buckley, not looking past May 9th, I want to be on that card. You know, it's my dream to fight in Philly, especially on a stage as big as this. Because who knows when they're going to come back again? You know, it's been since 2019 was the last time they were here, so I don't know when they'll be back. And as far as who's going to win that fight, Islam is going to run through Ian. Simple as that. He's gonna sub him for sure.
Here we go. And once he's measuring that kill shot. He's at the angle. Look where he's at too. He's behind the shoulder. This guy's looking this way. Conor's looking that way. So all the power Conor's from the shot is gonna go right through this man's dome. Kill shot right here. My favorite position to throw a kill shot. Boom. Right here. Woo. Wee. Kill shot right there. Keep on going. Then he comes. Now he knows Conor's not going to come here. He's not going to come over here in front of him. He's going to go on this side of him because it's going to force him to do two things.
On the defensive side, the breakdown highlights the importance of staying athletic and balanced when defending takedowns. It's not just about muscling through with heavy pressure, but keeping your feet under you and reacting with quick, controlled movement to stay off the mat.
Say what you want about Conor, but the guy can fight. He's good about going in and out and finding his shot. He's a sniper. When he hurts you, if Conor could typically hurt you, it's probably going to be his night. And Chandler's been hurt in multiple of his fights, even back to the Bellator days. And that's just how Chandler typically fights. When he fights, he goes out, the guy shoots. Conor's doing a good job of keeping his balance. I literally just worked with some guys today about that. Like when you're defending a shot, don't try to be heavy. Just be athletic. Stay on balance. Well, DJ, what if I'm not athletic? You better get athletic. Stay athletic. Keep your balance. Right? He goes against the cage. Puts the hand down. Backs out. Hands are up. Wee! There's that lead knee. And that. Wee!
So there you have it. Conor McGregor and Max Holloway are set to run it back at UFC 329. And this one has all the makings of a fascinating clash between two of the sport's biggest names. The big questions remain: can Conor shake off the ring rust and find that vintage form? Or will Max's pressure and consistency be too much over 5 rounds? Does McGregor still have the same killer instinct? Or has the time away taken more out of him than we realize? We want to hear from you who you got in this one, and how do you see it playing out? Drop your predictions in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a breakdown. Thanks for watching. As fight night approaches, more updates will continue to roll in from training camps, press conferences, and interviews, and every new piece of information has the potential to shift how this matchup is viewed. That makes this one of the most compelling fights to follow in the coming months. So now we want to hear from you. Who are you picking to come out on top? Does Islam add yet another championship to his legacy, or does Ian Gary pull off one of the biggest upsets the UFC has seen in years? If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest news, fight previews, predictions, and exclusive updates. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Until then, stay safe and enjoy the fights. And speaking of preparation, Ian Gary is clearly leaving nothing to chance. The training footage coming out of his camp shows a fighter pushing himself to new limits, fully aware of exactly what kind of challenge Islam Makhachev represents.